Hey everyone, welcome back to the Joe La Rosa Show, and I'm so excited here to have as my very first guest, my beautiful wife, Deana La Rosa.
I'm excited that you wanted me to be your first guest.
Well, listen, I mean,
I think you just wanted to be able to sleep in the bed at night, and I'm not your first guest.
Well, you look absolutely beautiful in your nice suave little vest there. I was just talking before we went live how I wanted to wear my jacket that I absolutely love, but she, for some reason, thinks that it's not as, what'd you say? It's not your favorite?
It. I don't love it. You love it, so therefore I'm trying to love it. I just don't. I like it.
You like it. All right.
Which I know if you said that to me, I'd probably get really mad. So.
Yeah, see, I would not be able to say that. So
I like it, but you have other jackets that I think, look more nice on you.
All right. Well, normally maybe you have seen us on our Wind Down Wednesday show that we do on social media. So this is going to be a little bit different experience. We don't have a bottle of wine here, and we're not going to be getting tipsy by the end of the episode here today.
I'm walking out if there's no wine.
Yeah, I was asking for tequila or something, but they said no, we have to drink just water here. So,
who said no? Aren't you in charge?
No, that's what I thought too. I got to talk to the producers here on the show. So, all right. Well, listen, let's kind of get into it here. We're in this new year, 2023.
Yes.
And so, I compare a lot of what has happened over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months. It feels very similar to what we experienced when COVID first hit, right? Because when COVID first hit, everyone was in a very certain place. Like everyone knew kind of what was going to be happening over the next few months, and they felt really good about their goals and everything else. And then, COVID hit, and it totally, and we'll get into that too as well, it totally just shook things up, right? Yeah. And I know even for myself, I've shared before is that, I went through a really weird experience for about a day and a half, but I had my amazing wife here to smack me in the back of the head and said, hey, snap out of it. We got to get our shit together, basically, and we have to be able to kind of now, step in as leaders and do our job. So, why I say it's kind of similar is that there's a lot of uncertainty out there. And so, as we kind of plan for this new year, what are some of the things that you're doing to kind of make sure that you can kind of set yourself apart from the past and from others to be able to make sure that this year can be one of our best years yet?
Well, I mean, whenever there's some kind of pandemic or something crazy going on, the La Rosa style is to just go all in. So it's like when other people are like pulling back, we're like charging forward. We're opening up new companies. We're creating new things. We're taking more risks. So I think that just going back to like the COVID thing, it was like people need us. People need to know that, yes, we're in a pandemic. Yes, things are happening, but there's always opportunity.
Right.
And I think that that's a leadership thing, that you realize that even in down times, there's opportunities to help other people and then create things. So, I mean, for me, it was opening up Lighthouse Mortgage was creating not only for my team some stability to create a path into what everyone says is a bad market. I mean, there's a lot of lenders closing, and here we are, who are we to just open up?
Right.
So I think, it's you have to create your own economy. You have to create your own businesses, multiple businesses that kind of feed on each other like you've done. You've created this pond of fish, and you created multiple ways to fish from it. And so for me, it's mindset, number one. You have to believe in yourself, right? Because if you don't believe in yourself, like, who else is going to believe in you? Right. So that's the important thing. Believe in yourself, believe in your vision for what you want to create.
Right.
And then be surrounded by great people.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, there's people that surround themselves by people that are negative. Like, oh, it's the market, so I'm just going to sit back on the couch and watch soap operas, and I'm not going to do anything. Or, oh, it's the market, or it's COVID again, so I'm just going to take advantage, get whatever I can, and sit back. And we're just not those kind of people. So you have to surround yourself by people that want to work hard, because at the end of the day, if you're hungry to create something and you hustle, nothing is out of sight. Nothing's impossible.
I love what you said. Make your own economy, right? So regardless of what's happening around us, right? So I'm a big believer in mindset, like you said, is absolutely a key component to anyone's success. But we have to be able to create our own perception, and that perception becomes reality. So
and fear is always going to step in when there's whether it's a pandemic or the market crash back in the day or whatever's going on. There's always going to be fear, And so the good thing is being surrounded by someone that can offset that fear, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we have fear, but we just do things scared. We take the step anyway, even though we're scared. That's the thing. So,
Right.
and when I'm having that issue, like then I can go to my partner and the people that I trust in my leadership and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and I got to be honest, and have someone that I know is not going to feed into that fear, but instead be like, no, that's okay. And, and I think like the foundation too for us is God. Like I trust in the path that he's laid out for us. And even when we don't know what's ahead, I trust that what he's creating for us and with us because of our intentions. Like, when God knows your intentions, like we know each other's intentions, we get to be more able to put like blinders on to what other people are saying and doing, because we know that we're creating something amazing and that everyone is coming along for the ride. Because there's many a times that we could be like, all right, we're good. We get to stop here. Like we're comfortable. We can travel. Our kids are going to be going to college. Like we can take it. We can have a really nice, easy life, right? We don't need any more dogs at one point. We don't need any more kids. But like, and I finally came to a point, I think I said to you one day, where I was like, no, it's not enough. I want more.
Right.
And not in a selfish way. It's like, I want more. I want to create more. I want to do more, because there's more people we get to help. There's more things we get to do in our life for our legacy. And, it's just when you have so many people that you want to make a difference in their lives, you have to do more. And as much as like people say money doesn't make happiness, money creates a lot. It creates opportunities. It helps people that are having health battles, that want to start a business. You believe in them. You can stand by them with that money. There's so much you can create with it. And I think when you use money the right way and for good, then God blesses you, and you don't get to be selfish with it. You get to share it.
Yeah. So, listen, I want all of our viewers here to really get to know you, right? So, a lot of folks within La Rosa obviously know you, but tell everybody kind of what's a typical day in the life of Deana La Rosa.
Oh, Lord. That's a shit show. It depends on the day, because when you have 5 kids, you can have your day set. This is what I tell my coaching clients. I know all about overwhelm, and I know all about like things going out of order. So, my day is always set. I'm very big on scheduling. I have an alarm for everything.
She does. I can attest to that. She literally on her phone, when you have like 8 a.m., leave the house, whatever, she has 8:05. Make a left. 8:06.
It's being a little dramatic. But.
I mean, it is so detailed. I mean, honestly, how many alarms do you have on your phone? Probably at least 50 a day.
Like today, I mean, not a lot, because.
Well, today we've blocked out some time.
Normally I could have 20. I'm losing these. Can I just?
Yeah, you could adjust. There you go.
Okay. So normally I could have 20 plus. So my thing is that when you and I talk about this, because like somebody will call me and be like, all right, Monday at 2, and Joe will be like, all right.
I'm the complete opposite.
And I'm like, stop, put it in your phone. He goes, no, I'll remember it. But no, I put it in my calendar on my phone, and then I put an alarm in my phone, and I have like my own like paper planner. But I like to see things, even though, I put it in my phone. But I also like an alarm because anything can happen my day. So when I wake up in the morning, which there was a whole period of time I was getting up at 4:30, because I was like, the only way I'm going to get what I want to get done is I got to get up way before the kids get up and Joe gets up with the dogs, because I need my own time.
What was that song that you'd wake up to? Something about like, I forget.
This Girl's on Fire?
Yeah. This Girl's on Fire, yeah.
It's to remind me when I'm laying in bed and I'm like, 15 more minutes. I'm like, well, clearly I'm not on fire if I don't get my ass out of bed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would get up because I wanted to learn something to be able to take my business forward. So the only way I could do it was I was like, all right, I'm going to give myself 4:30 to 5:30.
Right.
And then I'll have my normal like miracle morning, so to speak, that we call it, in the morning. And then it's like, then when the kids get up and I have to feed the dogs and everything, there's no stress. There's no feeling like I didn't have my time. So, the average day, it starts out with like an hour, hopefully, of my time, if not more. And then getting the kids ready with Joe, because we do everything together, and then taking care of the dogs. And then once we drop off the kids at school, I'm like, all right, here we go. I hit the ground running. And it's whether it's meetings or different things I have to do for the kids. Sometimes I have to spend like an hour a day scheduling nothing but doctor appointments for my kids. 5 kids, different doctor appointments and checkups or researching things for them. If someone needs a supplement or whatever. And then sometimes it's my dogs get probably, a couple hours a day, and then things for us. So it can get really hectic my day, but I plan it out. And then if something happens, like my son has a headache because he's trying to avoid a teacher, so he calls me to pick him up from school and I have to go, I have to move things around. And I create a day that at a certain point in my day, from like 10 to say 2, is flexible, where if something does happen where my kids are at school, I can move things and I'm not interfering with, looking unprofessional by moving a meeting.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's one thing. That's a little good nugget to kind of share, because I know when I've taught, time management and planning your day, I've never really used that before. Having that little period of time is called like your flex time, so that you can kind of fill things in or move things around. So that's pretty cool.
I'm doing things, but I'm set to do things, but It's nothing where I'm not in town or near to the school in case that's a time when the kids, need us.
Yeah. So let's go back to mindset, and it's kind of related to what you're talking about too now, as well as with your typical day. Mindset is the key, right? We know that. So as we're planning out our day and challenges come up out of nowhere, obstacles that we weren't really expecting to have to deal with. We get that call, we get that email, we get bad news, we get whatever. How do you keep yourself kind of like laser focused and not allow your mindset to shift from a place of, positivity and momentum to now negativity? Because we all drift from time to time. I drift all the time, and my answer to how I can kind of get out of it is, well, my wife kind of smacks me in the back of the head again. But how do you kind of maintain your focus?
So I think gratitude, when something comes up, because there's been times where I've handled it wrong and then I get upset at myself because I'm like, wait a minute, like something happens like with the kids where they forgot something, and here I am, I'm going about my day, and then my daughter calls me and I'm like, oh, why did you forget your lunch bag? Or why did you forget that form? Because now my day is going to turn around. And then I've done it wrong, right? To see that now I just made my daughter feel bad because she messed up, and, that's not okay. Or like one of our moms needs us and I'm like, oh my God, but I got to get through this. I'm way behind. So I think just focusing on gratitude. So I think one of the things I always start with is when something comes up, I'm like, like I have to go to the school, or my mom needs something, or something happened where we have to take care of the dogs. It's like I get to do that. Like I am a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a sister, and I have 4 dogs that I love more than anything, right? Not more than anything, but I love my dogs. So when they need me, it's a responsibility I took on, and I honor that, and I think I get to do it. And so instead of going like, oh, that screwed up my day, it's like I get to do it. So even like on times when we've had to like stop something because something happened with our moms or our kids, I end up I realize that those moments that we get caught off guard, right, whether it's our kids or our moms or the dogs or something like, or a friend or something like needs us in that moment, instead of feeling like it messed up my day, it actually fills my day. And it's a gift. Because those like times when I got to sit with my mom all day Sunday because one of her caregivers lost their husband unexpectedly. Yeah. And so I was with my mom from like 8 to 3 on Sunday, which is a day normally we do football with. So I guess God was aligned and flooded out the fields. But so I got to spend all day with my mom, and it was like, it's a gift. It like fills my cup, like it fills her cup. She's like, I love you. I'm so thankful that you're here. And I'm sitting there going, no, this is great time for me to spend with my mom who's taken care of me her whole life. So it's just shifting it to a point of being like, this is a blessing. This time was pulled out specifically for this. I got this, great time with them, and I get to show them my undivided attention, and everything else can move. Yeah,
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about, since you mentioned, kind of going into this, crazy, uncertain market, and where a lot of folks said, how can you even consider opening up, your own mortgage business? But, you said, listen, I'm going to kind of just ignore all that outside noise, and I'm going to focus on what I really believe in, and so on. So that's obviously going, down the right path. But, what really, I guess, inspires me is to see how you've evolved over the years. I remember when I went, very example is this, right? When the very first time I ever went to a Tony Robbins event. So, we were going through ups and downs, financially, right? The market had crashed. We had lost pretty much like everything. We were trying to, kind of stay afloat. And, we've kind of started to see a little bit of light there at the end of the tunnel. And, here I go to a Tony Robbins event. I get all psyched up, and I sign up for this crazy program. I end up selling her car to, actually be able to afford to be able to do it. And she almost divorced me at that time, but she didn't because she loves me. So, but I remember I came home the very first night, and it was one of these UPWs, right, where you walk on fire, which you still have not yet experienced.
Yeah, no.
But I can't believe.
I don't know that my feet can handle it.
No, you can handle it, right? It's mind over matter, right? So we go, and I go through this experience, and I come home, and I want to say it was like 1 a.m. because they keep you there real late. And it was here in Orlando, so I drove home, whatever else, and I walk in the house, and she's like, what are you doing? Like what Kool-Aid are you drinking, right? And so, I was like trying to tell her, no, babe, that this was amazing, hearing, all of these things, and I want to do this program, and I believe in coaching, and so, from that moment, obviously you were kind of a skeptic a little bit, right? Which I can definitely understand why, because, you were home taking care of the 5 kids, and here I am out, having a good time till whatever, learning, growing, but still, out. And so from that moment to where you are today, where I've seen you kind of evolve, and really when I took you to a Tony Robbins event, I took you to a Date with Destiny out in California, and you experienced what that was like. And I saw you completely change. And now one of the things that I see, which you've always been about giving, and now you're finding ways to give as a coach yourself. Yeah. Right. So talk to us a little bit about kind of what that evolution was like for you, and kind of where you are today with coaching, and really how it also kind of fills your cup to be able to help others.
Yeah. Well, so I think when you have like the desire to be a coach, it's because you've been through something in your own life, right? That you've maybe taken that pain and turned it into a purpose, or you've been able to shift out of where you were into something else so that you get to share that with other people. And so you really can't coach someone if you don't understand where they've been and how to get them to the other side. So even like when you came home all excited from that, not knowing anything about Tony Robbins and anything to do with that, and I've been with 5 kids all week, and from like newborn to teenagers, and dealing with the blended family thing, and he comes home all excited, and I dropped him down from like being on cloud 9. I drug him in the dirt, and I was just like, oh well, that's nice, but I've been here doing this, and I was in that victim mode. I was like, okay, I'm glad, but like I'm here, not realizing. And again, this is part of what I coach into. It's like understanding from a couple's perspective that we each have our role. And I don't mean role man and woman, because that's a conversation you don't want to have with me if you know me. But I mean more in a standpoint of like we each have our strong points, and we each have our role in the family, and we share everything to do with the kids and everything else. But as a couple, Joe has these really strong points with strategy and like very detail oriented, and I'm like a fire. Like, I have an idea and I can make it go, and I can pull the people together. But, if you want to put the plan together and really strategize and create it, like, that's where we come in together. So he needed that, and I needed him to really be there for our family at the time because of everything going on. And thank God, because it really was what catapulted us forward.
Right.
But so forward to that, and then he tells me about this Date with Destiny, and it was just, it's very hard to look at yourself in the mirror and really be self-aware of the things you do, right? To either sabotage yourself or your relationships, or even realize that you're holding yourself back. And so I was never able to do that, and realize that until going to this Date with Destiny. And I really went in Deana style, pissed off, like you're taking me to a freezing room, 55 degrees, and I have issues with being cold, away from my kids. It
was your first time ever to California.
And my first time ever to California, to sit in a room
for like 14 hours a day
and listen to this 6-foot guy. I don't care about this Tony Robbins guy. Who's this Tony Robbins guy? I'm not starstruck by any means or whatever. And then he's like, I'm like, then you telling me we have problems with our marriage? Like, and it was like the New York version of Deana, like, well, if you don't like it, there's the freaking door. Like that's the conversation, right?
Right.
Because I was in overwhelm of taking care of kids, dealing with, we were arguing with the exes at the time. We were having financial issues. Blending was not good. Step parenting, all that stuff was just hard.
Right.
And even though I think I handled it in a great way at the time, there was a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
Which is why I wrote my book when I got to the other side. So fast forward, we go. I learned amazing things. And 2 of my biggest takeaways from that kind of shifted me was, one, the masculine and the feminine energy, right? So always growing up, because I've always been a hard worker. I mean, I probably had 3 side jobs when I was like 11, including a paper route, cleaning windows and whatever. I've always been a hustler, but I was always in my masculine energy 24/7. Because not when I was dating, because when you're dating, you're feminine, and not when I'm out with my girls, because that's the feminine, but whenever I was work, because I took jobs that I was competing, like when I worked as a software engineer or a financial analyst with Computer Associates and Instinet in Manhattan, it was all, I was dealing with like 20-year-olds with Rolexes and like, $5,000 suits on the stock floor, and they're all like these manly guys, and they just didn't respect women, honestly. Yeah. And so all my seniors were all men. So I was always in the suit, and I was always in my masculine energy, and it did great, right? It got me to where I am. But in relationships, you have to like take off that suit, right, and be the feminine. He did not marry me because of the suit, right? I don't want to get into details of maybe why he married me. Like obviously, he liked my drive, he liked my business sense because we were friends first, and that's how we met. But then there's the feminine energy. So realizing through Tony Robbins is that that's what makes me powerful, my feminine energy. Not like that's fine that I have that masculine energy, that's great, but I get to be in my feminine, right? And the other thing was making things out of something. So like when I'm here managing a household of all these dogs and kids and Joe and, and then someone leaves a cup on the counter when the freaking garbage is right there. I'm like, so disrespectful. You don't give a shit. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah. What the heck? You're good.
So, like it drives you crazy. And I'm like, I'm making something out of that when really they're just maybe lazy. Maybe they were going to get more water, so they left the cup there. So I was doing that all day long in my house to my kids and to Joe. I was like making something out of nothing.
Yeah, I was just leaving the toothpaste open for you because you were going to be coming in next after me.
Or shaving and leaving it. Listen, that's a whole nother podcast for another day. It's a whole nother episode. We can reveal all the secrets, maybe not.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was just like I was making something out of nothing because I wanted to create a story that like nobody cared about me, that I was doing all this stuff and like, and I was not happy that I wasn't able to fulfill that part of me that was so wanting to help other people in business, not realizing that the help that I was doing to my kids and my husband was so great,
right?
But I didn't put a value to it. Right. So that I was creating the story and I was collecting evidence and every cup and every shoe and every like, oh, he didn't kiss me goodbye or, oh, they didn't eat their food at the table. Everything was a piece of that evidence that I was collecting.
You're just adding to that story.
Yeah, I was adding to the story. So that all helped me break through all that and then come to the other side and really just look at things for what they were, not take things personally, which if you know me, I'm an emotional being. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I love, love, love. Like if you know me, my love runs deep, but also then there are times when I'm out of sorts and then that emotion can run deep. And the emotion, it's good to be emotional, but you have to be able to control your emotions. So emotion will help you, like acknowledging your emotions will help you grow. But controlling your emotions will help you grow in the sense of business and being able to get past yourself, right? Because if you let emotions get in the way of your relationships and what you're seeing, then you're fogging the view. You're creating this, actually it's not a real view.
Yeah.
It's the view that like other people want us to have to stop us from going forward. But so I don't even know if I answered your question, but you got
No, you kind of did. No, you kind of did. I mean, obviously now you've been able to really kind of step into the role as a coach yourself. And I've seen, the impact that you've been able to make in so many people's lives, within La Rosa, outside of La Rosa. So, it's just amazing to see. So, I don't know if I ever let you know that, but I'm so proud of you for that.
Oh,
so
thank
you. Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to change things up a little bit here. So we'll kind of end the show with this. So I've been kind of asking you questions, right? So what's a question that you want to kind of ask me here now on this actual show? And you kind of, I'm giving you some power here.
That's courageous.
So I may second guess, I may kind of question why the heck I did this. But
man, I wish I had time to. Brian, you should have prepped me.
No, we didn't want to prep you. We don't put you on the spot.
Man. Okay, so live, I could ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's like, But I also got to go home to him, so and my kids could watch this one day too, so
so it's got to be somewhat PG-13.
One question. What?
Should get some like Jeopardy music in the background.
Yeah. Let me think. What's one question? overall, right? Because I kind of know, I mean, I for the most know this, obviously, I'm your wife, but maybe other people don't know, but truly just like what drives you? Like when all the going gets tough and things happen, because things do. I mean, we've been through this shit. I mean, we've been knocked down, like we've almost been buried 6 feet under, and we've been able to like claw our way through, right? And we have a lot of naysayers and haters, and then we have other people that smile, but then they got like, you know, a 6-pack of knives in their back, you know, ready to go at us. But we always stay focused. So what keeps Joe La Rosa grounded to be able to get through all that, through all the ups and downs, to stay focused on your dream?
All right, cool. So that's a good question. So, you know, Brian always says this really didn't happen, but the way I see it, this is how it happened. You know, when we were talking about, hey, how do we want to market this company at this trade show that we were about to go and exhibit at, I said, listen, you know what, let's not talk about, you know, leads and technology. Let's talk about kind of what is, to me, kind of like our purpose, which is family, passion, growth. And so it starts with family. So, you know, to answer your question, you know, what really drives me is our family, you know, and there's a second part to that, you know, it's our family, but then as well as being able to create a legacy that I think is really going to be able to, you know, impact, you know, many families, many lives. You know, I remember vividly when, you know, it was obviously it was a sad, you know, moment where they were speaking at my father's funeral, giving the eulogy, but you know, I was talking about the legacy that he created and that, you know, he's now left behind. And that's what really kind of motivates me, is that I want to be able to create a legacy for, you know, our family, for our kids, and I want to be able to impact as many lives as we possibly can through La Rosa. You know, and one of the things that, you know, I've always said is that, you know, I don't see myself as a real estate, you know, person as much. I see that I've been blessed to be in this position where, you know, I have now this vehicle that I can use to make an impact and to be able to help others, just like we do every year with our basket brigade, you know, and feeding all the families that we do during Christmas, you know, throughout the year. Just, you know, recently how we were able to, you know, get involved with other organization to help some folks, you know, that were dealing with obviously this, you know, cold weather that we get here, you know, in Central Florida. So, you know, to me, I think that's what really drives me is that, you know, but I'm human, right? There's times where I'm like, man, what am I doing? Like, this is not going to work. And oh my gosh, like, did I make a mistake? But then what really drives me is that I think about about my kids and about you and about, you know, about how I got to go out there and just be a leader. And I got to go out there and make this shit happen. And, you know, and we have all these different folks that are, you know, here, you know, listen, with what we decided to do 2 years ago, which was kind of unheard of. No one would have thought that we would even be in a position that we can even go public. Yeah. And so to be able to kind of go down this path, you know, and what really kind of gets me going is that, hey, listen, there's a lot of folks that are going to be positively impacted. This is not about Joe La Rosa and Deana, you know, being able to, you know, reap the benefits. That's going to be like an amazing thing to be able to see and look into the eyes of all these folks that we can kind of grow together, right? What's that saying? Rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. That's what, you know, I would say is, and I'm kind of probably just going off on a tangent here, but that definitely is what drives me. That's what gets me going every day. And, you know, when I'm in that bad place, that's what I have to kind of go back and remind myself of. This is what pushes me forward. This is why I'm doing this. And usually when I get right back to that, you know, that thought, it's like instantaneously, I'm like, all right, let me snap out of it. And that's one thing you can say, right? I have bad days. Yeah. I have bad days, but when I do snap out of it, I snap out of it pretty quick. And that's usually when I have that aha moment saying, hey, what the heck are you thinking? You know?
Yeah. Well, and anybody can quit. It's easy to quit and just be like, all right, forget it. We'll go back to the way it was. Because, you know, we have a good life, right? Yeah. You know, but you'll always succeed if you never quit, right? Yeah. And I think, like, one of the important things, like, and we've even talking about here today is, like, every single day, the minute you wake up, you're planting seeds. And it's like, what seeds you're planting, though, right? So, like, I think of everything that we do and everyone we touch and everyone we talk to every day as like planting a seed. Right. Are we planting a seed of positivity, a seed of hope, you know, a possibility, or are we planting a seed of negativity, or, you know, even like you can plant seeds of kindness versus hate and anger. So, and that's a thing that we get hurt, you know, and what's going on in the process where we could quit and say, you know what, they don't even appreciate it, or this one doesn't do this, or that, you know, but we stay focused on planting seeds of hope, possibility, and the financial strength, right, for everyone. Because again, like you have to have your finances together. You have to have financial strength in your families in order to be able to create what you want to do. And we have such a huge family to have a ripple effect on.
Sure.
Where one person, you can change a life. But for us, we have such a big audience of, like, within our families of, La Rosa companies and with our kids, that everyone's watching. And so everything that we do and we say, they're watching, they're listening. And for our kids especially, we want them to mirror us. So we want them to mirror kindness, empathy, and, never quitting, and everything's possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we definitely probably went over our time here for this episode. But you know what? No. For you? No, absolutely not. We can do this forever, right? I mean, you can check us out with Wine Down Wednesdays, too. There's a little bit of a kind of different setting. But,
One glass of wine, you don't know what's coming out of Deana's mouth.
Well, she said it, not me. So, all right. So, listen, thanks for watching today. I hope everyone's having a great day. And we'll see you guys at our next episode here at the Joe La Rosa Show.